Ladies and gentlemen, watching at home, I'm here in the studio, Cliff Richard.
It's never like this when we're on our own, I can tell you.
Well, thanks for coming, Cliff, and you've been a great guest, and you can go and...
I think I'm going to get lynched by everyone over there. That's the second kiss I've had
Just
from
a
you
little
today.
Christmas peck on the cheek, and the knives were out there. Now, you were on about 2 years ago, wasn't it? It was a long, long time ago. And one thing that stuck in my mind since then was we said to you, how do you keep your figure? How do you keep looking so good? And you said, I have 1 meal a day, and that's the last thing at night, virtually. You know, is that still? Do you still manage that? Because I tried it, and will of iron.
Well, the thing is, it's not the best time to eat, of course. But because I'm usually on tour, I can't eat before the show because if you do, you know, you spend a lot of time burping and things, you know. So, in fact, I've often said, if you see a shot and the singer's got the microphone and they're going, that's usually a... So rather than eat before the show, I kind of save it till after. And also, it's so nice, you know, it's nice to eat. So after the show to help unwind and you get together with friends or, you know, whoever is around.
So is this sort of incredible self-discipline maintained over Christmas as well? Or do you reach for the chocolate?
No, I mean, Christmas, funny enough, Christmas time, I don't know what it is. I suppose it's because families do get together and my sisters come over with the kids and there's always, you know, the fruit and nuts around all the time. I mean, to make sure that I enjoy the meal, though, I have tried to curb it. Because usually if you start at 10 in the morning nibbling at things, by the time you actually get down to the good old... Well, I mean, I know you've got a veggie thing here, but I'm having a turkey.
Yeah,
But by the time you get to actually having the meal, you're so stuffed, you don't really enjoy it. So I've tried to sort of curb it a little.
Did we hear you were right in the tape we had of you earlier on? You were talking about how you were making the video, this Christmas video. Is it the last one you're going to make, the last Christmas single? Did we hear that right?
I think it's probably the last time I'll make the attempt of having a Christmas #1. I mean, I don't mind having a #1 at Christmas. In fact, I don't mind having a #1 any time. I think anybody that's ever had a #1 will tell you that it's the most fantastic feeling any time of the year. But obviously Christmas is the time when, it's not just Christmas, it's the period between October and December that more records are sold in our industry than at any other time of the year. So naturally, all the big guns are out. That's why you'll find that the Michael Jacksons and the Queen albums and the Tina Turner, all the best of albums come out at that time. There's no point in releasing it any other time of the year because you're not going to sell as much. So I'll compete, but probably not with a song that's aimed at the Christmas market. It's very difficult. I mean, We Should Be Together, for instance, no one played that till the 1st of December because it's considered a Christmas song.
But I guess anybody competing for the #1 this year wouldn't mind being put to the post by Bohemian Rhapsody, would they? Because of the fact that it's going to the AIDS charities. I mean,
no, that's right. I mean, again, 2 years ago, in fact, you showed a clip of me singing my little section of the Live Aid track. Now, when I knew that they were going to do a Live Aid single, I thought, well, I won't bother competing, because for a start, if you happen to win, you'd feel rather bad having knocked a charity record off. So I didn't know, and in fact nobody knew, of course, that Freddie Mercury was going to die and that there'd be that whole AIDS thing and that George Michael and Elton would have that big #1 charity record. And now it looks like Bohemian Rhapsody will be #1 as well. So as you say, if you're pipped to the post by that, well, I can hold my head up and say, well, you know, you can't compete with that.
It's Christmas.
Well, that's one change if you've decided not to go for the specifically Christmas market anymore. I read well, the specific Christmas song.
I tell you what, if someone came to me next year, around about July, because that's how far ahead we have to work, and said, I've got this fabulous Christmas song, and I heard it and thought, oh, it's fabulous, it's like mistletoe, I'd do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't possibly turn a really good song down, but I'm not, at this moment in time, I'm going to plan to record next year, and I'll be recording an album the way I've always recorded albums prior to Mistletoe and Wine.
I just want to ask you something that you wrote in your book. You said about yourself that you feel you've got to the stage in life, I was talking about change, and that you really would like to do something maybe completely different, something vaguely outrageous.
Well, wait till you see what I'm going to wear on my next tour.
Really? I mean, do you ever get to the point of saying, I mean, you know, we've talked about all sorts of things like male menopause on this show and things like that. Have you ever really thought about that?
I'm 5 years away from that point, I think.
Well,
I might be there tomorrow, who knows?
Do you ever feel like doing something completely mad, like sort of jacking it in, going and living in the States?
Do you know, I wouldn't want to go and live in the States anyway, but I mean, no, I've not. Every now and then as a joke, I'm always saying, you know, well, you know, I've got to think about retirement and slowing down. Well, maybe slowing down's the answer. You know, I think to myself, well, this bubble that I've been floating around in has got to burst at some point, and every year I say to my management group, I said, when is it going to end? I'm hating the idea that one day I'll wake up and it's all gone.
But isn't that, Cliff, because, in a sense, the environment you've lived in, you call it a bubble, it's a nice analogy, it's an atmosphere that you've learned to breathe over the last, 20, 30 years. And if it were to go, would you suffocate? Would it be difficult?
I don't know. I mean, I always feel that I've dealt with fame quite well, I've sussed out that, for instance, no matter how big you appear to be in the public's eye, you're really not that big anyway, none of us are. In fact, more people don't buy my records in Britain than do. If you sell Mistletoe and Wine sold almost 1 million. In that 4-week period, it sold, that's another one, underlines how many records you sell at this time of the year. Almost 1 million in that 4-week period. But there are 60 million people in Britain, so 59 million of you did not buy it. So in fact, I'm kind of used to the idea that there was a different air outside the bubble, and so therefore if it did break, I know I would continue life quite well, but I'd be disappointed because I've enjoyed, as you say, it's a rarefied atmosphere I've been in, and it spoils you. I've been spoiled.
We've asked you lots of questions. There's lots of other people who want to ask you questions, and in about 15 minutes' time, it will be your chance to talk to Cliff, the audience here, and also our viewers at home will be asking him their questions live, so don't go away.
Because after the break, costume designer Ben Frow and Josie Lawrence meet a country wife in search of city chic. Cliff's back later on, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Bye for now. We tried to get some of your fans here today, but we just
failed miserably. I don't know where you found this lot.
We sort of fling you to the lions, I think.
Yeah, we got questions from the audience and questions on the phone. I think you're doing that.
Well, I think we'll take somebody on the phone first, because after all, you can all see him here. You have the advantage. Right, we've got Sharon McGarity on the line from Glasgow. Morning, Sharon.
Morning.
Good morning. What would you like to ask Cliff?
Morning, Cliff.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry if I'm sounding a bit nervous, but you've made my Christmas very special.
No, you don't sound anything but Scottish.
Oh, thanks very much. Listen, have you any ambitions you would still like to do in your career?
Well, the thing about the kind of career I'm in is that you never actually attain perfection, although that's what we always aim at. So I've got to do everything all over again, but twice as good if I can.
And could you do me one more favour? Could you please say a Merry Christmas to my mum, Doreen?
Doreen, Merry Christmas.
My brother, Paul, and my little sister, Amanda, who's only 5 years old.
Paul and Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda, have a lovely Christmas.
And have a great Saviour's Day. May God bless you.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right, Sharon. Thank you very much indeed. Hope you have a lovely Christmas as well. We're going to keep these questions sort of short and sweet, I think. So we can
Cliff, no fans. We're just hanging on.
No. All right, listen, we've got one of our audience ladies now. Jean Marsh, where are you? Where's oh, there you are, Jean. Hello. Right, what would you like to ask Cliff?
Actually, it's Joan.
Joan. Totally sorry, Joan. It says Jean here, but right. Okay.
Hi, Cliff.
Hi.
I'd like to ask if during your busy lifestyle you managed to get to any other artists' concerts?
Oh, yeah, I do. The trouble about concerts is that usually when I come home, say, from a long tour of Australia, as I've just come back, a week and a half ago, you don't always feel like going out, so you just hope that nobody good is on around, otherwise you're going to miss them. Yeah. But on the whole, yeah, it's nice to go to other people's concerts. I quite enjoy it. It's especially if I can get there just after having been away, because then you don't feel like getting up on stage yourself. If there's a long gap and you haven't been on stage yourself, and you go and see someone, all you do is spend the whole evening thinking, oh, I can't wait to get on tour again.
Yeah. But do you find you watch somebody else in performance, I mean, that you're a fan of, and you think, that's a good thing, I could use that, or I wouldn't have done it that way, or the lighting's not too good there?
Oh, yeah, I mean, yes, you don't steal exactly, but there's nothing new, and you can be influenced very, very easily by what you see on stage. But the second part of your question is more important. More importantly, I think you tend to see people do something and say, I think that's a mistake. I must remember not to do that. One of the first things I learned was about medleys. I went to see somebody very, very famous, and they did a whole medley of about 15 of their hit records, all in about a minute and a half. Yeah. So you got about 10 seconds of a really fabulous song, and just when you thought, I'll get into this, it was gone. So now, if I do a medley, I do great lumps of the song, if not all of the song, and I'd rather stick 3 or 4 songs together and do them all, but stick them together, than do just 10 seconds of each.
You won't tell us who it was?
No.
No, right.
Okie dokie, back to the phone lines. Julie Sainsbury from South Yorkshire. Where are you?
Hi, Cliff.
Hi.
Thanks for the music.
Thank you.
As a Star Trek fan, I know, what do you think of the new series?
Well, do you know, funny enough, it's a funny time of the day, isn't it? It's early evening, and I'm either not home, or else when I do get home, it's halfway through it. But whereas with the old Star Trek, I would have changed my diary to get home in time to see it, I'm not that bothered. Although the bits that I've seen look very good. I mean, I suppose the effects and everything are better, but there was something about the old Spock and the old Captain James T. Kirk, and they'll never replace Lieutenant Uhura, as far as I'm concerned. So you know, I still love the old one, and I've got about 40 or 50 of them on video now. So I've got about 30 to go, because there were about 72 originals.
So I gather, Julie, you say you've read it in one of his books. You're a big fan, are you?
Oh, a very big fan. Could you say hello to all the members of the Yorkie fan club for me?
Hello, all the members of the Yorkshire fan club.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, world. Thank you, Julie. That's we'll take another call from the audience now. Not a call, a question. I hope I got your name right. Margaret Nichols.
Yes.
Where? Oh, hello, Margaret. What would you like to ask Cliff?
Hello, Cliff.
Hi, Margaret.
I'd like to ask you, which are your 3 favourite records or LPs that you've made?
That I've made.
Yes.
Well, in terms of LPs, funny enough, I think my favourite album would be Rock and Roll Juvenile. And I can't tell you why. Music is so subjective. I just like the feel of what we got going on that record. The fact that it had We Don't Talk on it anymore on it helps, because that was the biggest single I ever had. In terms of singles, I would single out Devil Woman, Miss You Nights, and Some People, probably. I don't know about that order, but I mean, that's thinking off the top of my head.
Just thinking about your actual musical style, I mean, you mentioned those as your favourite albums. Those are the albums I associate with, maybe I'm totally wrong, just the layman's hearing, your voice seemed to change, the way you used it seemed to change. You seemed to hold notes for longer in a more sort of pure way.
Well, I mean, I think we're changing all the time, and remember, when I got started, I was only 18, so when you listen to records made by 18-year-olds, particularly 18 when I was 18, which is, you know, 4 or 5 years ago now, we didn't have the same amount of influences. Our influences were only for about 3 or 4 years. People that have been born, say, in the last 20 years, have been brought up with the best of soul, with the best of rock, with the best of Beatles and everybody to be influenced by. And you'll find that an 18-year-old singing now is far more advanced as a singer than I was when I was 18. And so my voice inevitably was going to change anyway. But you tend to change more by feeling more confident. You know, I'm less afraid of using my voice now than I was.
Last time you were here, talking about you being 18, you did a wonderful sort of impersonation of your own pout from those early days.
I can't do it anymore, though, really, Judy, because I looked at some old photographs, and I know people are very kind and say, oh, the Peter Pan of pop, and he hasn't really changed. But I have changed drastically. And there's a couple of areas I've noticed my eyebrows are very different, and they are. And if you look at
different from the other,
no, I had really thick, heavy eyebrows, and I miss them. But the other thing was that I think my mouth has changed. I had much more of a sort of I'm thinking of having the operation.
Everybody's got Cliff's eyebrows. Listen back, all right?
Collagen implants in your lips. They do that, you know.
Do they?
Models do, to get a pout back.
Is it painful?
Very.
Is it really?
It really is
After
very
or
painful.
before or during?
After, and it dissolves back into the blood and kills you.
Oh,
Well, we got some good answers
very
to
rare
that.
occasion.
Thanks very much, Margaret. We'll go back to the phones now. Madeline Lee from Manchester. Madeline, hello.
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 Hi, Madeline.
Hello, Cliff.
Hi there.
I'd just like to ask you, you made films when you were younger, and I wondered if you'd like to go back to making any more films at any time.
Well, the thing about films, they're very big things, you know, and they're very competitive. And unless someone like myself can make a movie to compare favorably with Terminator 2, I'm not interested. They look fantastic. And the days have gone, I think, where producers would just take a rock and roll singer because he or she had a fan club that would support the movie and just make a film around us. That's what we did in the old days. The Shadows and I would be the sort of center point, the focus point of the film, and we made some good films, considering that's how they were made. Young Ones, Summer Holiday. But unless someone's prepared to take people like myself seriously, it would be too easy to make a bad movie, really easy to make a bad movie. And I'd rather spend my money and time making a good album, one good album, than 5 bad movies.
Were you acting in those movies as a different character, or were you acting yourself at that time? Who were we seeing?
We were acting, we were all of us acting ourselves, but even acting yourself, you still have to act, because you still say and do things that you wouldn't actually do yourself. But we weren't characters. We were strictly Cliff and the Shadows having a great time. But you see, it's like everything I do on stage. Is it me or am I acting? When I do Devil Woman, you try and do all this business, and I don't walk about going, she's just, I mean, so it's an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
All of it's acting. It's just that obviously when you go and see really wonderful actors or actresses performing either on stage or on film, you realize they do a lot of research, and they can actually become somebody else for that moment. It's still basically them. I mean, whenever I see Meryl Streep, it's still Meryl Streep to me, but she carries me away long enough for me to believe in the character she's playing.
Do you ever feel self-conscious? You're just doing this there, sort of, obviously you do laugh at yourself, but do you ever feel vaguely embarrassed on stage?
No, never. No, because you're doing things and that they're right for what you're trying to do. You know, if you're doing a 2-hour concert, and those that have seen people, well, not just me, but there are lots of people who do this, you try and create, a record is 3.5 minutes? You try and create little cameos for 3.5 minutes so that you give people something else to remember other than the song. Because let's face it, if you want to just hear the song, it's best to hear it on CD at home.
Yeah.
Too right.
Cliff, thank you very much.
Cliff Richard, ladies.
Oh, right, okay. Well,
The only man in the final won. Does that mean I'm out of a job?
No, it might mean he has one.
all right. Thank you very much indeed. Congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah.
Thank
Well
you,
done.
Cliff, for
Thank you,
presenting
Cliff.
the prize. Thank you both. Thank you. Right, in 10 minutes' time, actually, that winning recipe will be on Oracle, so everyone at home can make it. And that's it for today. We're back same time on Monday with the new Dreamboat in Joseph's Dreamcoat, Philip Schofield.
That's right, so don't miss it on Monday and Tuesday. That's, in fact, Tuesday's our last show before Christmas. And coming up now is Cliff's, well, we're not going to say his last single for Christmas because he was actually saying that maybe it won't be. We'll leave that with you. We'll say goodbye, and so until Monday. Cliff, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And here's the new single. Okay,
See you
bye-bye.
Monday, that's right.
Monday.
Yeah.